Hello, and welcome SMBN viewers to this week's Shred With Your Head show. It's good to be back after a week off. Things may look a little bit different behind me because I'm not in my garage. I'm actually on the road and filming from behind my hotel room in Bend, Oregon. And that's about 20 minutes from Mount Bachelor. So I'm actually on a 2-week road trip, and this is a combination of mountain biking and university tour visits. So yes, I'm going to be going on and being a student, going on to university after I graduate high school next year. I have college visits with 6 universities over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be visiting 3 in British Columbia. So that would be the University of British Columbia, Simon Fraser University, and then also the University of Victoria. So then I'm going to be visiting Oregon State, University of Oregon, and then also UC Santa Cruz. But the best thing is I'm going to be riding in all those places. So some of the places that I will be riding in is Mammoth Mountain, Mount Bachelor, Mount Washington, Whistler, Squamish, Santa Cruz. And I would like to apologize that we're not going to be having any breaking news this week. But don't worry, we'll have another thing that's very interesting, and that's actually an interview with Mark Langton, who is the personal mountain biking instructor. And I interviewed him last week, and that's going to be shown in the next few minutes here, or seconds here. And so he and I talked about the top 5 mountain biking skills that every mountain biker should know. So enjoy that. Viewers, glad you're here watching this video. This is Mark Langton with mtvskills.com. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. So your biking ranges from being an editor at a mountain bike magazine, correct?
I was an editor many years ago in the 80s and 90s, yeah, mountain biking magazine, and I also was with Men's Fitness magazine as their gear editor, so that was fun. I was did a little bit of mountain biking in that too.
Fun. So do you care to tell the viewers a little bit more about yourself and like how you came to bike? And
I've been, riding bikes since I was a kid, like most people, But I started mountain biking in 1983, and got involved with a bike shop that the manager was a pretty avid mountain biker, and so he got me into it, and I just took off from there and started racing in I think 85, 86, and in 87 is when I started with the magazine, and so throughout that whole time. Just enjoying mountain biking, and then in '87 as well, that was when the Concerned Off-Road Bicyclists Association was formed, and the whole aspect of land access advocacy started really becoming more prevalent, not just in California, but throughout the country. So Corba basically was trying to advocate for just access, because a lot of the trails were being closed by the state and National Park Service managers because there was opposition to bicycles being on the trails, sort of following along the whole Wilderness Act, and people not wanting mechanized transport on the trails, and so in that whatever it is 30 or so years, 30 plus years that we've been doing it, we've gotten definitely more trails open. But there's still more trails that need to be opened up just to spread out the usage.
Yeah.
But that, so that's kind of in a nutshell what I've been doing for the last 35 years.
And mind if we go back to like when you first started talking about mountain bike. So what was your first mountain bike?
My first mountain bike was a CyclePro Ram, and it was based off of I believe the Ritchie Annapurna. Ritchie was one of the first mass-produced mountain bikes back in that was like I said, 1983, and so yeah, that was actually sold that to a friend of mine who was who owned a bike shop off of Valley Circle.
And I'm guessing that was a cross-country bike.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was no differentiation now that there are like there is today.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely it was just a standard mountain bike. People didn't even know what they were hardly at that point. But it was the first. I think that was probably one of the first dedicated Japanese-made mountain bikes. back in the day when they were making them in Japan.
Okay. And so that was a cross-country bike, or an all mountain bike.
Just an all-around.
Yeah. So like, do you mainly just ride cross-country, or like, what do you mainly ride cross-country?
Yeah, mostly cross-country. I'm,
Enduro at all?
Well, I used to have a much more long travel bike. I don't do a whole lot of enduro, just in general, just because of the trails that we have around where I live. But and if I was going to be doing that kind of stuff, I would get a dedicated, all mountain or maybe even a DH bike and go up to Snow Summit or that kind of thing. I've been riding Snow Summit and Mammoth before they even had the bike parks up there.
Yeah.
So again, the sport has segmented itself out into so many different.
Yeah. So
things,
you have, how many bikes do you have? Like.
I probably have 5 or 6 mountain
Wow.
bikes.
All you use a lot, or
Yeah.
maybe one you just use most of the
I have
time?
just the one bike that I use most of
Okay.
the time, just because of the style of riding that I do.
And what kind of bike is that?
It's a giant Anthem
Oh, nice.
X,
So just
whatever the X1 or whatever they called it at the time. I'm due for a new bike because first of all, with the new Eagle drivetrain,
yeah.
I
Can't get that on your bike.
oh no, it won't fit.
Oh, okay.
The spacing on the rear end is wrong.
And
so.
it's 26 inch, is it?
That's
Or-
29.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 29. Okay.
And the other bikes that I have, I just have. I shouldn't even really have them. I don't ride them, but I do have one bike that I'm going to hopefully use as retirement because it's a Mantis XCR, which is the original aluminum mainframe, chromoly steel rear triangle, and the rear triangle is bolted to the mainframe. And that was made by Richard Cunningham, who was the editor at Mountain Bike Action for many years.
Okay.
The bike was way ahead of his time. Gary Fisher actually licensed the design and produced it for a while. Now I'm going way too much detail. Sorry, guys. But like I said, I'm looking at getting something that's probably a little bit more all mountain. I like the cross country style of the Anthem, but it's just maybe not really burly enough to I can still hit stuff pretty hard. So
Okay. And like, how often do you ride? Every day?
not every day, probably
Okay.
3 or 4 times a week at the most. But
Still pretty good?
yeah, it depends. Depends on like the heat today. It's like
Yeah.
I would have been done with my ride already.
Yeah, makes sense. And so you ride 3 or 4 times a week. What is your favorite place to ride? Like, have you been like any place that like really struck you as like a really fun place to ride?
The really cool thing about being an editor, and I think that's why a lot of people want to get into mountain bike journalism, is because you get to travel a lot. So I got to go to Europe a bunch of times.
Wow.
I've been all over the country, or many places around the country where I've been to Vancouver, Whistler. I've been to Moab a bunch of times, Colorado, and there's just so many great places to ride. But really, where I live in Thousand Oaks, California, we have an open space area up there with great riding. And the thing about Southern California is that riding is accessible pretty much year round. It's like if it's raining one day, it's not going to last for very long.
Exactly.
But so that's primarily why I live in Thousand Oaks, because the trails are right there and they're really nice. They're really fun. It's all open. The access is completely open to all muscle-powered transportation.
And just out of curiosity, have you been to Whistler in Canada?
Yeah.
And what was your opinion of that?
Well, see, again, that was when I was actually with the magazine, and
So
this is right when they first started developing the park up there. It's been many years, and I think that it's way more developed now. I kind of need to get back up there. In fact, a friend of mine just bought a condo up there, so he said, "Yeah, let's go." So
I'm actually leaving in a few days to drive up
Nice.
there. Yeah.
Nice. You're driving up there?
Yeah. Yeah. My dad, my friend, and I, we're all
Cool.
going up there. Yeah.
Cool.
2
Yeah,
weeks.
I hear that it's just amazing. So
yeah, it
but,
is.
Yeah.
I've been a few times.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's dedicated downhill.
Yeah.
Take the ski lift up. Yeah, we rode more of the trails up there than we did, because like I said, it wasn't much of the park that had been developed yet. So
Okay.
so that they were kind of just starting it. So it was basically back in the maybe early 90s. Yeah.
Wow. And so you talked a little bit about how it was to be an editor. Other than just traveling, what else did you really do?
Well, everything, it's the same now as it, well, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say because, back when I was doing it, the sport was just really starting to come into its own. And so, I got to test some bikes that, the designs were very interesting to say the least. Nowadays, all the bike designs are pretty much, tried and true. And there's no bad bikes out there anymore. Back then, it was like, a lot of hardtails. I was around when riding the first RockShox, literally the first iteration of the RockShox and suspension in general. So a lot of testing. Writing about. Yeah, my specialty was the skills tips in the magazine because I was the resident racer at the time, and so I was the one who was writing the technique articles. And I was also the advocacy guy, which made for an interesting juxtaposition because here I am a racer, but I'm also advocating for land access in the local communities. So it was definitely interesting. But so that's primarily what I was doing: testing, writing, occasionally doing the travel pieces wherever we choose to go and reporting on that. So definitely fun.
Nice. And last question. So, what is your favorite mountain bike channel on YouTube for students?
That might be the Student Mountain Bike Network.
Thank you. Okay, so that is it pretty much for the intro on who he is. And so now we're going to go over some essential skills for any rider.
All right, so the whole concept of core fundamentals in mountain biking, at least the way I've developed them, is you want to be loose, you want to be low into the bike. That means this weight here from your head to your hip, and you want to look where you want to go. So the 3 L's to make it easy for you to coach yourself when you're out riding. So to be loose is to be relaxed, right? So you can't get low if you're not relaxed. So you get relaxed or loose, you get low, and if you're turning, always turn your head looking where you want to be. Don't look at your front tire, look ahead, scanning the terrain. So loose, low, and look. Once again, this weight here from the hip to the head is approximately half your body weight. And when it's up high over the bike, it's going to really affect the stability of the bike itself. So the lower you get, the more stable you get and the bike gets, and the more confidence you have. Because even experienced riders, if you feel like you're going to fall, you tense up. And if you tense up, nothing's happening. The bike is dictating what you're doing, not the other way around. So stay loose, get low, always look where you want to go. All right. So when it comes to practicing the 3 L's, just riding around in a controlled situation and practicing staying low, staying loose, and looking where you want to go. So when you first start practicing this, start pedaling around, and anytime you come to something that's a little bit of a bump, get lower. Notice how I turn my head early in order to go where I want to go. A lot of people think that the most common crash is going over the handlebar. While that does happen in some instances, probably the more common crash is the front tire washing out going around a corner. The front tire slides out. So if you're going around a corner that's got a berm or a bank to it, or it's pretty good traction, then you just go ahead and just lean the bike over. But if you're going around a corner that's off camber, sloped to the outside, or loose and flat, loose rocks and flat, then you want to improve the traction of the bike as much as possible. So as the bike starts to lean, don't let it lean. Push it upright, keeping your vision looking into the turn. And by pushing the bike upright, you're creating better contact of both tires. You still want to use the loose, low look. Really use the look in this one because you got to look where you want to go. If you've ever been going around a corner and you feel as though you're getting sucked to the outside even though you want to go there, but you're going there, it's because you're not looking in the right spot. You got to look all the way into the turn. Of course, you got to climb to get to the downhills, and a core fundamental for climbing, and the most efficient way to climb, is to use your upper body as well as your legs and be seated on the saddle when you're climbing. And the way that we use our upper body to climb is that we actually pull down and in with our arms on the handlebar so that our elbows come in, and what that does is it keeps the handlebar square, meaning you're not wandering all over the place. And also, because there's torque happening, if you tense up your arms and push on the pedals, the front tire comes up. But if you relax your arms and then pull down a little bit, the bike's just going to go forward when you push on the pedal. So again, it's sort of a combination of pulling down, elbows coming down into your body, and pulling down kind of towards your knees on the handlebar. So it kind of looks like this as you're going up the hill. Now, since you've got one foot coming around at a time, sometimes you can just use the one arm corresponding to the pedal that's going down. So you pull down on the right arm when the right foot is going down, and you alternate. Now, if you're on a really narrow trail and you need a really more precise line, then that's when you start pulling both arms at the same time, because that's going to keep the front tire going as straight as it can. You might still get a little bit of this, but that's okay. What we don't want is this, because when you do that, you're winding up in the weeds. So when you see a hill, make sure that you shift early, and then once you start feeling that resistance from the hill, start pulling down into the bike. Now that you've got an idea of that loose, low look kind of body posture when you're sitting down, pedaling around, we're going to take that to a posture that's used for descending while you're braking and also going over bumps. Again, when you're descending and you put your brakes on, your body weight goes forward through inertia. And what gets a lot of mountain bikers just starting out in trouble is you feel that inertia getting pitched forward and you say, oh, I gotta keep myself from going over the handlebar. Well, it's gonna happen anyway because your weight is up high, right? So if you put the brakes on too hard and your weight's up high, this is eventually what's gonna happen. So we need to get ourselves down into the bike as we put both brakes on. Don't listen to your friends who tell you stay off the front brake going down that hill, because your front brake's the only thing that works when you're going downhill. If you're only using your back brake, not using your front brake, that's what's going to happen until you start using your front brake, and then the bike will slow down. So make sure that you're down low, your weight's slightly back, you're up off the saddle. Don't clamp onto the saddle. Know where it is. You can kind of feel where it is, but don't clamp onto it because you want the bike to be maneuverable underneath you that way as well. So if you're going downhill and you need to slow down, drop your body, apply the brakes, squeezing, not jabbing, and move your weight even further rearward. All right, shameless plug. The videos that you see as far as the skills shown here at Student Mountain Bike Network can be found right here in this book that I wrote a few years ago called Mountain Bike Master: Essential Skills and Advanced Techniques Made Easy. And this is available on pretty much any online seller. Thanks.
And that's our show from the road today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're interested in learning more about Mark Langton, go look up his book online or go check out his website, which will be in the description down below. It's mountainbikeskills.com. And I'll see you next week from the road again. And go out and make it a great day to ride.